www.thegreatwhitebrotherhood.org.
The illusion of creation. This conundrum has baffled many people over time. To realize that all is illusion, and yet to live within that illusion, as if it were real. So, is it possible to live in two realities at once? We must always bear in mind that the majority of people are living in individual and collective realities that they have created with their minds, as a result of their experiences and desires. So, no two people are living identical lives, identical realities. As you know, it is all levels of falsehood that appear real. We have attempted to explain this phenomenon a number of times. Whilst one can accept this illusion as reality, there is no problem. People appear real, buildings appear real, and life goes on, being endlessly created by our imagination, and by our desire for things to appear in our individual created reality. But, of course, we must question what would happen if we were able to stop that imagined reality, and see life as it really is. What would we see? What would we observe, from that elevated position? The simple truth is, that we would see creation, as it really is. There is nothing. The simple truth, is that all would disappear, and the only thing that would exist, is universal consciousness, which is a concept, and does not have a physical form. This is all well and good, and it should be everyone's desire to obtain truth, but it is not very practical, if we need to integrate with an earthly incarnation. It is not so much that we would disappear from the point of view of our families. It is more that they would no longer exist from our point of view, as they, and everything else, would just become part and totality of this collective consciousness, that we refer to as God, the all that is. So, effectively, any sign of life as we know it, would be totally gone from our reality. We, as individuals, would remain. We cannot disappear, because we, as individuals, are the only things that exist. Even we would not have bodies, but we would exist as points of consciousness. We wish to enforce the point that we alone, as individual points of consciousness, would be all that would exist. In other words, we would be alone, in a non-existent world. We would be alive, but living totally alone, and isolated in a place that had no time, no space, no air, nothing. We would not have a body, just a life force. We would have no families, no friends, no neighbors, and no one else in the world. Just us, as individuals. We could call that person me, just me, without body, just me as a concept. This also is not easy to grasp, which is why we labored the point somewhat. Now, very few would want to live in that vacuum of nothingness, so the concept of individual realities was introduced, to enable us to live more connected lives. Thus, to try to answer the question, it is obvious that to live in truth, would be rather pointless, so it is better to live in this false reality. Even long after our incarnations have finished, and we rise to the higher dimensions, we still live in these created realities, that we call heaven and hell. It is only when we have completed our journey, that we merge with God into this nothingness, that we refer to as God. However, we feel obliged to mention, that our God Spirit, that we call our higher self, is living in this nothing place, that is actually all that exists, and thus is everything. Our higher self is our individual aspect of collective consciousness, that was mentioned above. That is the point of life, that is, me. And me is all that exists.
Thank you for watching this video lesson. Please visit www.thegreatwhitebrotherhood.org for more lessons and free downloadable books.